Hello everyone and welcome to Disc Golf Examiner. Today we have a very special coverage of the 2018 Ice Bowl. No wimps, no whiners. I'm Brian Keegan. Joining me today is Vince Mach. Vince, how are you doing?
Doing well, Brian. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much for joining us. You were the TD for the event, and so I know you didn't get to see these guys play that much, so it should be an exciting round.
I am super stoked, as Ian Anderson from Central Coast would say, to get a chance to see this. There was a part of me that really just wanted to skip the TD curse, and get out there and just watch these guys do their thing. So I'm really excited to watch now. We got Lenny there, really was the hero of the show, cleaning off the tee pads for us. He's the man.
And I want to say a very special thank you to Dynamic Discs for sponsoring our broadcast here today. We wouldn't be able to be here broadcasting without them. Thank you to Dynamic Discs. And
absolutely.
This is my favorite thing about this park at this time of year. Is the view.
Right, you've got a perfect view, no obstructions, and the event was really a huge success. We had 71 people come out despite about a 22-degree plus wind chill, whatever that was, and we raised $1,080. Oh, there's me. A lot of people kicked in money and food, really made the event a huge success. So I got to give a shout out to the community.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your donations. That's really going to help out the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. As you see, even the players loaded into the car.
Yeah, they did it all. It was great.
And up next, we have a very special clip. We actually have Hayden Fawcett, 11 years old, hole one.
That strong left-handed shot.
Ace!
What a shred.
Yeah, he really nailed that one.
Yeah, and those kids were playing well out there. It was great.
It's fantastic for them. And we have our card here. We have Mark Prestopnik, Red Whittington, Jay Gary, Dropcho, Matt Rosier, and Cody Winget. And so we'll start off on hole one, which is 261 feet. It's a par three. Matt Rosier up on the box.
For these guys, it's a pretty standard like hyzer flip, kind of what Matt threw there, or hyzer. I'm wondering, Brian, what it was like when you guys were up there, because it was, by the time I got up to hole one, it was super cloudy and very windy.
Yeah, we did have some wind to deal with there. I believe in this location, it was more of a tailwind heading in. It was very chilly there in the morning. But, luckily by the time we got there, the tee pad was all melted. So everybody had a good run at the basket here. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's Red Whittington, three-time Masters World Champion. I believe a local legend's been playing the course since it put in very standard hyzer right to the basket. No surprise there.
Yeah, actually, I believe if we're counting, we have 5 world championships on this card. Red has won 2 individual and 2 doubles, and Jay Gary won an amateur world championship.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know about the doubles championships.
Yeah.
It's more impressive than I even know. That's incredible. And Mark getting down there. He's a little bit left of maybe where you'd like to be, probably close to about 25 feet coming back past the tree here.
Now, this is Mark's home course. This is the course that he loves to play all the time. So he's not going to let that bother him.
Not at all. Not at all. Can't at home. Red lining up his putt here. Just a little low.
Jay Gary's about 30 feet out there. Beautiful.
No surprises. No surprises from league champion. He's a machine when it comes to putting.
Fortunately, Matt just tickled the right side.
Yeah, it's tough coming back into that headwind. That's happened to me many times where you just get the disc flat and it almost turns a little bit to the right.
Nice putt there by Cody. That hole one is tricky like that, though. It will definitely the wind right there will get you. It can cost you a stroke for sure.
Absolutely, it's cost me many a stroke, and Red probably got the tailwind effect, so other way around.
Absolutely. So we're moving on to hole 2, which is 537 feet. It's par 4 technically. I believe most people will play it as a par 3, but for scoring purposes, we're using a 4.
Oh, wow. You're going to cause a little controversy there because there's a lot of people who are very, very serious. I know Mark coming up plays it as a 3, but Cody absolutely mashes a turnover into the wind, gets a nice skip up, a little left maybe where you'd like to be, but that's still a crush.
He'll be nice in an open area down there, so he'll have some room to work with. Jay Gary's going to give it a good rip. Oh, unfortunately, he got a little bit more of a grip on it than he wanted. There is some wind coming down from the left to the right.
Oh no, and that's really the only mistake on this hole that's going to really cost you is going over the road. As long as you come up short of the road, you can pretty much salvage a 4. I ended up down there, but I was lucky enough for mine to dig in and stick. But
Mark's
that's a bummer.
heading right, but he's going to fade back left nice and easy.
Yeah,
that's a really great drive there by Mark.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'd almost rather be at the bottom of the hill there, push the tree line, land there.
Matt's giving it a good run. Turning right.
Turn.
Fade.
All right, Matt.
There it is.
Ooh.
Red's gonna get a little bit of a more grip than he wanted.
Yeah.
That disc is going to stop short of the OB, though. It's just short of the other players there. So
very fortunate. I think he throws a G-star shrike off the tee, and as far as shrikes go, it's a little more understable. So in that wind, it just might have gotten away from him, even if the release was good. And Jay Gary coming under the trees here. This is a tough shot because you really have to push something hard up that hill there. The camera is deceiving. You don't have a high ceiling to work with to get the disc up as high as you'd like it.
Cody's nice in the open there on the other side of the field.
Looks like a big hyzer, right?
Yeah, he's giving it a bit of a hyzer there. He's going to be just to the other side of the tree near the basket. He should have a putt.
Mark's in the perfect zone. There's a beautiful upshot. Red piping one up there. His form with those putter shots is just so buttery smooth. He does things with a putter that I could only dream to do.
Yeah, he really make it glide and stay up there as long as he likes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've asked him too how he does it, and he's just like, "Oh, you just throw it." It's like, "Oh, thanks, Red." Jay Gary, a little jump half run, right up near the basket.
Red does have a really nice selection of discs there too. A lot of them are out of production as far as the plastics go, and some of the actual molds.
Well, I'm sure. Oh, geez, did he come up short on that again?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. And see Mark coming in nice and easy with the 3. He'll be happy with that. Jay Gary with the OB stroke. That's a rough take there on the second hole. And nice easy tap-ins to finish up the hole for the other 2 guys.
And we'll move it on to hole 3 here in a moment. After we tally up the scores, Mark's pulling ahead with a 2 under.
No surprise.
We're on to hole 3 which is 216 feet. It's a par 3. Really, you just want to throw a hyzer shot. Just get around that tree, get that skip up, and mark.
Woo. Yeah, with the ground being as icy as it is, as long as you make it past that tree with a decent bit of speed, you're going to get the skip you want to trickle over to the basket. It looks like Cody's kind of getting the same ground play there. That's excellent. Matt throwing his hyzer, a little lower line, maybe a little more bite on the ground, but he should be able to putt from there, no problem. Red, similar ground action. These guys just, they've they've been playing for a long time. They're making it look nice and easy. And this hole, I know for me anyway, I really struggle to get the hyzer and hold the hyzer the whole way because it's sort of uphill, and I think it takes a good bit of control with your shot to get where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that OB always to contend with over there on the left, and just past the basket. Beautiful putt by Cody.
Absolutely. Pro side, no question. Who's closer? Oh, Jay Gary gives honors to red. Wise decision.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Hyzer it in. Don't play with those right side chains on the baskets on this course.
Nice.
And Jay Gary's just unfazed, even with that OB behind, just unfazed to putt in any situation.
Yeah.
Woo. Matt stays in there despite a little bit of a bounce. That's always a nice reaction. Wow, Mark made it all the way past the basket. That's a great drive. He gets a lot of power on his shots. A lot of good touch and form.
So Mark's still with a 3 under. We're moving on to hole 4. It's 195 feet.
And this hole is how aggressive do you want to get? Because the basket is right behind or right to the side of that on the edge of the hillside. And if you get too aggressive, you will skip right down the hill OB. Mark just left his straight, which is a nice safe play in this case. No problem there.
Yeah, you kind of want to be to the right because you never know that with that wind coming from your right to your left, it seems to be that way all the time. It can really pop your disc over to the left real hard. And Cody's going to give it some air, which, whoa, good run at the basket. But unfortunately, it's going to take a skip down that hill, and he's going to be OB.
And that's exactly what happens when you throw something and expose the bottom of the disc to the wind in these conditions. You just really got to be careful and give it enough time to get to ground. And Matt just takes the wind out of the equation, throws it nice and straight, no problems. And red, getting a little glide here, but it looks like he sits. That's great.
Beautiful.
See what Jay Gary does. Probably throwing one of his overstable putters or a Rock X3 maybe. He just lets it curl up and trickle to the basket.
Cody's going to have to give this a run if he wants a chance at a par here.
Puts it up high enough.
Oh,
just helicopters down. And that's when the wind is like that. That's what will happen is that you don't feel the wind as much. Mark just smartly lays up. You don't feel the wind as much at the bottom of the hill, but then your disc skips up over the edge there. The wind oftentimes just holds it up in the air, and it'll just frustratingly helicopter down right to the side of the basket instead of going in.
And we have not talked about this yet, but the temperatures were around 11 degrees that morning with a wind chill in the single digits. So, no wimps, no whiners at the Ice Bowl, but these guys are dealing with those types of conditions that, your discs are going to fly a little bit differently in the cold. They don't tend to glide as far as I'm aware, and they're kind of more rockish. They just sort of like fall.
I know that I felt like I was throwing blocks of ice by the end of the round.
So you have Jay Gary going to a 2 under, moving on to hole 5, which is 336 feet. This can be a very tricky hole. If you have the wind coming from your right to left here, coming from the top of the hill, and if you end up to the left, you can go OB. So, but Matt Rosier, Matt Rosier there is going to show you how it's done.
Beautiful. And red just maybe gets over on it a little bit, the hillside, but that's not bad to be over there. Jay Gary's is doing that hyzer you were talking about with the tailwind. If you throw something too stable, it really holds it on that hyzer, and you could skip out of bounds. I'm guessing, did he stay safe there?
Yeah, he did.
Mark's going the same way. Wow. And you guys, I think, played pretty quickly, but by the time we got to this part of the course, there was about a 20-minute backup out here. And it was coming into the last 5 holes for me. So our whole card, we felt like we just stood out there and froze in the field, in the wind. And it was the only time I've been playing a lot this winter, and it was the only time that I really felt like I couldn't feel my hand, even with my glove on, couldn't feel the disc. And it really played a factor in the end of my round. So it's nice that you guys got to kind of just roll through there with a little bit of a better clip.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to not have to wait, especially in that cold. We kept things moving, and everybody kept warm. Everybody had different ways that they were doing it too. Jay Gary did it by pulling on and off layers throughout the entire round. Red's going to give it a good run. Oh, just shy.
Yeah, that's really, you have to have a plan. I honestly, between all my TDing duties, probably didn't prepare as well as I should have. I was wishing, especially out there, that I had another layer just while we were waiting to keep me warm, keep the wind off of me. And Cody's got a really tough putt here. We call that affectionately the bogey bush, because that thing, as you see, is massive, and it really likes to catch discs. So let's see if he can get around it here.
Just a little
enough
high.
power. Yep. That's tough. It's a tough spot back there.
Ooh.
Mark wants that one back, knowing him. He does not like missing putts at all. Cody, nice solid tap in. Matt will do the same. And everybody else should clean up pretty easily here. Jay Gary's layup, too, I didn't get to say earlier, from all the way on the other side of that bush. That's impressive, because you really have to commit to the shot. It's pretty far down the hill. It's a lot steeper than it looks on film. And to keep it low and to just have it trickle up next to the basket, that's a skill shot for sure.
Absolutely. So we have Mark dropping to a 2-under, and we have a game now. Hole 6 is 255 feet. This is a nice, fun little uphill drive, wooded.
Yeah.
This is where you get to the wooded section of the course. Matt Rosier's going to show you how to do it. Beautiful.
That's impressive. I mean, that's a crush to get it all the way up the hill, holding the line you want it to. Jay Gary, you see a lot of shots. You don't see typically his shot go that way, but you see a lot of shots go that way. You air it out a little to the right, kind of onto 18's fairway, but it's still not bad. Red's over there too, but Matt, to get it all the way up the hill with a bit of a tailwind, that's super impressive. And I see if Presto can match him here. I know he wants it. Oh, yeah.
Mark's beautiful shot, straight up. Yeah.
I've seen him make that shot probably 50 or 60 times.
He does love this course.
He does, and it should be noted at our Schenley League this year, he had the best average, Red, with a really nice run there. He had the best scoring average with an average score of 8 under par 46, which is that's insane. Wow. So, and he thinks he shot several weeks in a row bogey free, which makes sense considering how low his score was, which is just crazy impressive, because it's easy, especially once you get into the woods here, to take multiple strokes hitting trees.
Beautiful putt by Cody. Great birdie.
With authority. That was excellent.
Mark awesome as well.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt's just got to drop in. That was a great drive.
Yeah, for him to be past the basket a little bit, that's very impressive. Red will tap in his par. No surprises that Jay, Gary, Mark, and Matt too making a run at it.
So hole 7, 198 feet. It's a nice little turnover shot if you're a right-hand backhand player, or sidearm. Right-hand sidearm would be a good one as well.
Yeah, Presto takes his 8 here and takes this big hyzer. Sometimes he plays a flex, but this time the hyzer forehand line, and that, if it trickles up the way he wants it to, it should be right by the basket.
Beautiful drive by Cody. That's exactly how you want to play it.
Absolutely. Looks like he took something a little more stable, threw it on an Annie, and let it flex out a little bit. That was a really impressive shot. And there's the flex forehand from Jay Gary. That just needs to push that tree line, and it looks like he got through clean. Red throwing that Z Archer. It's a new addition to his bag. It's an understable disc, but I think because of the cold and the stiffer plastic, it's just not giving him the flip that he would want.
Great upshot there by Red.
See if Jay Gary can one home here. It's up and in. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Jay Gary he can always pull that out at any moment. So you never count him out.
I wouldn't. I would never in a million years count him out on a long putt. Oh, it just splashes out right side, Cody. Oh, that's rough.
It was a beautiful drive. So.
Yeah. And again, Mark, knowing him, he definitely wants that sort of disgusted look there, because that was a good drive. That's exactly where you'd want to be, maybe a little bit coming back up at the basket.
That's probably got about a 25-foot putt there.
Woo.
Nice and easy for him.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Cody tapping in. Red, I think he'll be okay with that one there.
Yep, just mark it just in case.
Absolutely.
As he passes me, he says, pressure's on.
Definitely, because he's taken the league in top average for many years, so he wants to win as much as any of the guys here.
Now, hole 8 is 255 feet, tightly wooded downhill drive. And what's really strange about this hole, it can be you can get it in 2 strokes or you can get it in 8 strokes. It's just one of those holes that is really tough to get through this tunnel shot here. And Jay Gary is going to get down there pretty nicely.
That's beautiful. I personally decided to take 6 strokes, just to mix it up a little bit.
Sure.
It was my last hole, and I mean, I definitely could have thrown a better shot, but I couldn't feel my hand, which I'm sure played a factor too. It makes it tough to throw the touch that you need to get it down there, and hopefully that's going to sit because, looks like one of those big rocks caught him. Because that's the other issue. It's really a treacherous hole. It's short, but you have the double mando, and then if you throw a good shot, too good of a shot, you could go long and end up in the parking lot, which is OB.
You have Cody with his deputy turning it over just a hair, and he's there. Fantastic drive.
Safe. Very nice. And there's Red shutting layers like you were talking, but just a little bit left. It's so touchy to get through that gap. It narrows and then it widens again, and it's tough to make it all the way through.
And Matt's going to go tomahawk on this one, or maybe a thumber there. And he might be a little bit far for a putt. Red's letting him just go out. Unfortunately, he's going to catch a tree there.
Dang, because I like that from that spot. There's actually another tree. There's actually a pretty solid hyzer line. Rather than trying to go straight at the basket, I like to take an overstable putter and hyzer it in.
Right off the top of the basket.
Bummer. Too bad that doesn't count to hit the number.
And actually, Red is going to throw past me here and go OB. Unfortunately, I was not catching that because I thought it was Jay Gary was up.
Oh, no. To go from that short, that's really a tough break. Jay Gary catches a nice rock there, too. It's a tough spot. Jacob Johnson in the background there showing some good etiquette.
Cody.
Player etiquette's important.
Take your time. There he is.
Boom.
Great 2. That is such a pivotal hole to get a 2 on. It really is, because somebody is going to get a bad kick. It's just, if you can get a 2 after that, you're going to get a few strokes on people.
definitely that call a bonus birdie on Schenley. It's not a gimme by any stretch.
Mhm.
Mark's just going to tap on out.
All right. So we still have quite the game here. Moving on to hole 9. It's 195 feet.
In this hole, I would say probably if there's a controversial hole, this might be what's considered the most controversial hole because there's just so many trees in the fairway. There really isn't one particular line per se. Some people call it a poke and pray hole, but I think we'll see Jay Gary take my preferred line. Watching them do it is there's behind all those trees, there actually is a hyzer line. If you get it around, there's your result, a perfect maybe 15-foot putt. But you really have to commit with a nice hyzer. You can't leak right because you'll hit that first tree. Going straight.
Yeah.
It's
Nice
pretty
and
good
high.
too.
Beautiful, Mark. That's a great drive.
Awesome. Looks like his old ESP Wasp. That thing is money for him. And if you have the command of a turnover or a straight shot like Matt Rosier, you can take that left side gap, but that is much tighter in person.
And unfortunately, Red's going to hit a tree, although he is over the road here. Now, it is really tough. He's going uphill here. Looks like he's going to try a hyzer route. Unfortunately, it just comes out a little early, bounces off the tree and heads over to the right. But fortunately, there's a more open gap over here.
Yeah, you have a nicer approach here. He just seems a touch off today. Like he's hanging on to his shots a little long, and they're going right on him, where I've seen him hit every single line on his course playing with him before. So maybe just the cold being a factor is affecting.
Cody with a nice upshot around that tree.
Matt, seeing if he can make another long putt here. Keep pace.
Long one. He's probably about 40 feet out there. Fortunately, just a little shy.
That's tough. And Mark had a great drive. And an equally great putt. Perfect.
That's about as perfect as you can get there.
Yeah, Jay Gary's was arguably even better because that spot, that landing zone, if you land there, you're set for there. The other pin position is behind him. So if you can land the disc there consistently, you have a 15-foot putt for 2 out of the 3 pins, the 2 harder positions. So that's just pure consistency, muscle memory, and being a multi-time world champion.
We have Jay Gary and Mark now 4 under. We're on the hole 10, which is 204 feet. This one can be a little tricky. What's nice if you have a backhand is get an anti-flex going through the trees here. If you have a sidearm, that can be nice as well, but you have to be careful because you have a big hill and you have trees to deal with. So, and if you don't hit this hill right, you can go down quite some ways.
Wow, and that's the way he draws it up for sure. And there's, again, a lot of obstacles. There's the big oak tree on the left, and then there's another tree that fell, you can see on the ground there, that they just left on the ground. So you used to be able to kind of do almost, I used to see Red do this air bounce shot and float it just off the ground. And you really can't do that anymore because that tree being on the ground takes that out of the equation.
Oh, and Matt's going to take a hard kick left.
And his putter is so beat, it just slowly turns the whole time, and he should be putting no problem down there. Beautiful touch. And Matt is all the way up by 12's basket, so he's looking at, what, maybe 100 feet 80
Yeah.
feet down the hill.
Easily. And you see, that's the thing, is that hill, you can take a tumble down that hill, especially with how hard the ground is, and you can tumble quite some way. Luckily, Matt's going to get caught there with his disc. Jay Gary, unfortunately, is going to hit a tree, kick right.
It's easy to do. There's a lot of trees to catch discs out there. So let's see if he can make
Jay
another
Gary
incredible
for his
putt.
par.
Maybe just a half go there, which really isn't a bad play.
And Cody had a pretty good drive. Unfortunately, he's got a tree right between him and the basket. So see how he plays this. Ooh.
Going for a little bit of a hyzer. That was a great bid.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt a little bit down the hill here. Going to give it a good run. And just hit the top of the basket.
And there's a nice putt from Red.
Beautiful.
There's a good bit of water that just sort of drains down. Oh, Mark is not pleased with himself there for sure. And there's a good bit of water that drains down. You can see the frozen mud there. The road was incredibly slick from all of the melting and freezing that we've had. And I actually saw somebody take a spill on the road there. I won't say who it was, and he was fine. But it was very slick.
Absolutely. So hole 11, it's 237 feet. It's nice and straight down this gap. Really, you don't want to do anything else except go straight.
Yeah, pretty much what Red did there, that's what you want to do. And Mark, I know, is going to try for the same shot. Just a nice flip up. And it looks like he just didn't – it looked like it wobbled out of his hand a little bit, which is sort of uncharacteristic.
Cody's throwing his pure here.
It's the right disc for the shot. Ooh.
Fortunately, there's got a little bit more slip than he wanted there coming off the box. So he's going to pull it back, try again. Ooh.
Oh, man.
And
that's one of the worst reactions I've ever seen. He really got some power on the disc, and as a result, he just rocketed across the road, which is not out of bounds.
Yeah, the road is not out of bounds, exactly.
But it's a pain.
Gary is going to go straight at it. Nice little worm burner there.
Yeah, and with the ground being as cold as it is, he should get some carry. And maybe Matt's hooked up at the end. I could not tell, but he should be putting at the very least. Cody has to just flick across the road.
Ooh, almost a skip up and in.
Oh, almost skips it into the basket. Now that would have been something to see.
Man.
We would have had to do the Sports Center. We would have had to do the Sports Center da-da-da for him if that went in.
I don't know if we can afford that, but Mark's going to lay up and be right underneath the basket.
Well, that's true. I don't want to get you in any trouble. Right. I forgot about all the copyright stuff. I only did the first two notes, Sports Center. Don't come after Disc Golf Examiner.
And Red, with a really good bid at the basket there. And here's a prime example of Jay Gary taking on and off layers to perform where he needs to. Freedom of movement. Decision. Freedom of movement, very important when putting.
Ooh, and then just a little low.
A little shy.
Even with it being winter and not as many leaves on the trees, even down this far on the course, there is some wind on this hole, a little bit maybe left to right.
Ooh, and I think Matt may have clipped the tree there and caused his arm to kind of release the disc a little higher than he wanted. He has a nice long look at the basket now, and unfortunately, not going to make that after that beautiful drive. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really rough for sure. Cody with a really amazing three save, being that far, finding a window to come back and save his par. That's a pro move for sure. Red tapping in, and everyone else will just clean up.
So we'll be moving on to hole number 12. Mark's still in the lead. We are, hole number 12 is 192 feet.
This one, I'd say, for these guys, you consider a must get. You have a nice flex forehand line, which Mark will show you here. If you want, get down and
I think that
flare skip.
the way that the road was so covered in ice there, I think he got a little further down than he wanted. But he'll have a go with the basket. Cody's.
I think you're right with there not being as much friction. He's not going to get the skip maybe that he normally would. Instead, it just slid straight. And Cody catches a tree there.
Yeah,
short.
That was a really nice line. Unfortunately, there's a tree there.
Absolutely. And Gary's just going to say, I'm just going to take this nice wide hyzer route.
Ooh.
Oh, but he finds a tree. Dude, geez. Well, I know if we ask them, I'm sure they would say they consider it a must get. But I think with all the conditions and the temperature being as cold as it is, you're just seeing the result of that.
Yeah, and Matt's going to be down the hill here, which is unfortunate. That's just playing on the side of the hill. Matt's going to be up just past the basket. Great upshot by Matt Rosier there.
I need to get a thumber upshot into my game apparently, because he's made that work twice now and saved a bunch of distance as a result.
Jay Gary's going to give it a good run. He'll be just past the basket.
Beautiful.
Red's going to give this a good run, I think. Make up on some strokes.
Ooh, just a little right. It's tough. It's, again, the camera really... I would love to see one of those fall in one of these days where it hops up and just drops in, but I guess it probably wouldn't happen. Mark's trying to use a towel.
Is on the ice. He has to actually lay down a towel in order to get his foot placement.
I mean, that's a solid strategy to try to get a little extra grip, because that's that spot right where I saw another player take a spill there. It was basically black ice, like you don't see it, and then you're sliding. Jay Gary downhill still has got to get this in. But who am I kidding?
But it doesn't bother him. It's fine. It's Jay Gary. He can make any of these putts. I am convinced of it. Any putt that he has, he can make it. There's a possibility. if putting league has taught me anything.
Absolutely, and it actually. And okay, so Mark, still a single stroke separator between Mark, Jay Gary, and Cody. So we're cooking along at a good pace here.
We're moving on to hole 13, which is 219 feet, heavily wooded. There's very thin gaps here, though. Everybody can kind of take their own.
Red.
Looks like Red's going to take the perfect gap. Wow.
That's not really, I mean, that's not I've never seen someone throw that line. Typically, if they're throwing that line, they're doing what Mark does here. Nice high, just cut a tree. Nice high forehand flex. I've never seen someone pipe that gap with a backhand. That's incredible from Red. See if Cody can correct off Mark. A little high, catches a tree. Jay Gary too is taking the flex forehand. All right.
Ooh.
Keeps it low, and he is, 10 feet from the basket?
Even
That's
a
impressive.
roll towards the basket after it. Wow. Beautiful drive by Jay Gary.
And I like the tomahawk or thumber play.
Matt's going to have a good run, though. Matt's going to have a good run from that position.
For sure. And I like that throw from that position because it kind of gets the disc vertical and gives you a little more room to work between the trees. Cody running it uphill, just a bit high.
Matt's probably about 40 feet there. Oh, unfortunately, he's going to go a little right of the basket. Mark just outside the circle.
Yeah, he's definitely within his range. Oh, just holds to the right. Red, easy peasy when you throw a drive like that.
Good putt there by Matt. And Cody.
And we still haven't seen Jay Gary's drive yet. It shows just how close he was. That's incredible.
Wow, that's a great hole to get a 2 on. You can definitely catch up on some strokes with that.
Yeah, that's another one where I would almost call it a bonus birdie. And with that, Jay Gary ties Mark, so we have a game.
That's right. Hole 14, which is 177 feet. It's par 3.
And a shout out to our junior card. I think they were one person short of a star frame on this hole, and I haven't seen these guys throw yet, but I know my card didn't get close to a star frame.
The trick on this hole is to end up down the gap, let it hyzer out beautifully like Jay Gary did, just like that, and just have it fade out towards the basket, and don't go anywhere near that OB.
Yeah, you want something that's going to hook up at the end. A little straight, but he'll have a putt from there. It's nice and open. Cody taking that pure again. Kicking.
Unfortunately, hitting a tree, kicking left. And it's a little bit of jail down there.
It really just depends on where you end up. And Matt maybe taking an ace run there, but finds that OB that you mentioned. That's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. You really can't afford to hit that OB there.
And Mark calls this woodpile here one of his life achievements. He's been piling up sticks down there for years, being a course promoter, helping clean things up. And Cody, unfortunately, had to find his footing out of that. And then this is his second attempt. Very frustrating.
Matt's going to go for par.
That's a great save. If you're going to go out, go long right past the basket. Have a short comebacker. Oh boy. Mark just a little high again. Cody showing a bit of frustration there. Again, understandable. It's tough to have to come out from way low down there. And Mark, visibly frustrated. And I know, I would imagine anyway.
Jay Gary's just going to drop his in.
Yeah, to take the lead. And I know Mark takes a lot of pride in how well he plays this course. And I'm sure, he wanted to be making some of the putts that he's missed so far.
And hole 15 is 213 feet. This is an uphill shot. You're going to follow those discs with our tracking lines.
Oh, nice. With it going uphill into the light, that was a good decision for this part here.
You have Jay Gary.
And this is a really tough. Let's see what Jay Gary does here.
Oh, he's going to be in a very nice position up there.
Looking pretty nice.
He's going to.
Hey, off to the right isn't bad as long as you're up the hill, because you have the narrow gap and then you have that branch right above. So you really are almost throwing a triple mando.
Mark is going to go a little further right than I think he wanted.
But again, anything up the hill, you're at least giving yourself a chance for a long run. If you're down here below that last big tree in the middle, you're really...
Ooh, and Matt's just going to go straight at it. Wow.
Just that branch that hangs over the middle, that's very impressive.
Absolutely. We'll see what Cody does here. Ooh. Good little turn. Comes back. Oh.
Nice, Cody.
Wow. Beautiful drive.
You got some good drives on this hole.
Yeah.
Hey, for as much as some of those shorter holes and flatter holes tested them, we're really seeing them pull out their A game for this hole. That's impressive. Red gets an unfortunate kick and roll back. Now kind of has to protect his arm. Almost dunks it from back there.
Mark's looking at a long putt here. Probably looking somewhere around 70, 80 feet.
He wants it. He's putting it nice and high to give it a chance, but it's just a bit short.
Jay Gary probably at about 45 feet.
Oh my
Never
goodness,
count him out. Never.
That's 3 birdies in a row. He is making a charge right now. First turkey of the round, I think. 3 birdies in a row.
Beautiful drive by Cody and Matt, and then easy putts. Fantastic.
Nice, guys.
You don't see typically that many birdies on that hole in that pin position. Maybe 1 or 2, but to see 3 out of 5, that's very impressive.
And we're moving on to hole 16 with Jay Gary with a 2-point lead on Mark. Which hole 16 is 171 feet downhill. There's these guys only see one line here, and that's left sidearm.
And that's
a little flick.
Definitely the preferred line. You really have a little more room to work there if you can just throw a nice touch flick with something kind of stable and have it just trickle up. And Matt taking a little more unconventional, but he's obviously comfortable with that shot. The thumber, and Cody's going to do the same thing. Just let it fall.
Just going to hit that tree there, unfortunately.
Mark taking his ESP zone, I think, and that's the line.
Yeah, he'll have
Let
a
it
putt.
flex.
And Red's going to take the route that nobody has taken yet. I think he's going to go right for the red tee. Yeah, a nice little bounce off the red tee, I think, was his goal.
Perfect. And this was the site of our second ace of the round. The father of the young fellow who aced earlier aced this hole. And, I mean, I've never heard of a father and son acing holes. I think both their first aces in the same tournament. That's a neat story.
I think that has to be a one-of-a-kind story. The Fawcett's, right?
I think so, yes. I think Christian
and
and what was the young fella? Hayden?
And Hayden. Christian and Hayden getting Christian getting an ace on 16, Hayden getting an ace on hole 1.
Both equally impressive. Different shots, but it takes some skill, maybe a little bit of luck just to get it to go in. And Jay Gary for 4th birdie. Oh, man.
He is on fire and unstoppable right now.
Mark really needs this to keep pace if he's going to have a chance to catch Jay Gary.
Beautiful.
Oh, keeps the game going. Cody, deep breath.
There he is.
No problem. No problem at all. And again, not a gimme. That's 15, 20 feet down there with very icy footing.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are making it look easy.
All right. So, Jay Gary still with a 2-point lead on Mark, but quite a commanding lead by them both. Hole 17, 216 feet. This is a nice uphill shot. You have some trees to contend with, but you want to just throw it up and let it do what a disc does. Let it fade left.
Beautiful drive.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the lines you can take. There's sort of a wider line towards that big hollow tree on the right, and then there's the tight line that Mark took. It looks like he got a kick there, but if you can stay low through that tight line, you can be right next to the basket. This is one of my favorite drives on the course. It feels just really fun to me to rip something up the hill and have it carry all the way towards the basket over the hillside. That looks like he caught a tree too. That's a bummer. Cody, I mean, I've hit that tree more times than I'd care to admit, but that's definitely one that anybody wants back. And I didn't see where Red finished up there.
He should be a little bit further to the right there. Cody unfortunately hit that tree, and so he's going to have to hit a tight gap between these trees here in order to get up there, and he does it.
That is remarkable, to keep your hand in and trust that you're not going to. I always just get in my head thinking I'm going to whack my hand off this tree and break my wrist, and he just committed to it, and the result speaks for itself.
Matt's going to have a nice turnover shot here. Looks a little long from the basket there.
I think with the headwind coming off the hill, if you throw something understable, it'll hang up on you. And Red probably running it. Why not at this point? Just give it a run. Give the folks a show. And this is a must make.
Mark's still about 100 feet away.
Yeah, this is up by where the A pin sits. And he really needs to get this in here. And just leaves it right again. Dang.
Cody's dealing with some wind. You have the wind picking up right now. You can hear it in the trees. He's got a headwind he's dealing with here, so you don't want the disc to pop up too much.
Yeah, downhill into a headwind is tough. You really have to hit the exact angle and almost imagine that your disc is on like a string, a straight line towards the basket.
Ooh. And he
So
almost
close.
nailed it.
I want that one for him.
Yeah.
I think that should have went in, Cody. You've got my support on that.
Mm-hmm. TD support. Now Matt's going to have a strange position. He's going for a wide straddle putt here. He's definitely outside the circle. I'd say maybe 45 feet.
That's tough, but hey, at least it's good to be 6'6", where you can get a little towards the basket.
Jay Gary looking at a downhill putt here. And he nails it for his another birdie. I've lost count. How many is it? Is that his fifth?
That's his fifth in a row. He came to play on this back nine, and the way is typically I've seen folks do real well on the front nine and then struggle on the back, but he kind of I'm on the front nine and just absolutely is shredding some of the most technical.
All right, so Jay Gary's has a commanding lead at this point. 3 strokes over Mark. Hole 18, which is 246 feet. This is a really nice hole. You just got to go over the hill and let the disc fade out.
There it is.
And Jay Gary's looking like he's just gonna beat him now. Just gonna put it away with a nice hyzer. Is the trees there?
He's going to finish it right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to just apologize to everybody. I really wanted to move this pin
Nice mark.
off the hill there and just give it a little more of a straight shot. But
There it is.
that was a really nice hyzer flip from Red. The mount for the alternate position was filled with ice when I tried to move it, so I could get the basket out, but I couldn't get it into the new position. So we're getting to see some neat shots as a result, at the very least. Cody leaving a little straight, and that's what can happen is those trees will snag your disc. There's a lot of trees there, and he ends up down in the ditch, which again is pretty steep. Like, it doesn't look steep down there, but
There he is.
he makes a great recovery shot. He's been scrambling really well.
Beautiful putt by Red.
And Red finished with a birdie. He kind of had a rough round, maybe not exactly the command he wanted of the disc, but that was a great putt to finish out.
Oh, Matt's going to go just past the basket there. He's going to run real long. He's going to have a tough comeback. Oh,
No, sit down. Okay. And he was lucky to catch the wall there too, because you can very easily, especially with this cold, skid down the hill the whole way. Jay Gary basically has a tap in for his 6th birdie in a row to finish out the round.
and Cody will drop in.
That's something else.
Wow. So 9 under for Jay Gary, 6 under for Mark. Red came back to par, and we have Cody at -1 and Matt at +1.
Those are some good scores. Definitely some of the lower ones out there today. There was plenty of high 50s, 60s, 70s. It was a freezing cold, brutally challenging day.
It really
Dubbed the
was.
name Ice Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as weather goes, it was pretty miserable, but it was fun to be had, even though it was pretty miserable weather. And it was a lot of fun to have everybody come out and see everybody. I did want to give a special thank you to Dynamic Disc for sponsoring our broadcast today. It's really amazing to have their support in covering the 2018 Ice Bowl. As far as the event goes, Vince, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, just the same thing you said. Big thanks to thanks to our prize sponsors, Friction Gloves and Gateway Discs. They sent us some swag so we could take all of the proceeds that we took from registration fees and put it as a donation. So we just had a few things to give away to folks as a result, and they really helped make the event possible. And shout out. I probably wouldn't remember everybody now, and I did thank everyone at the event. But thanks to anyone who contributed in any way. Thanks for everyone coming out and playing and donating. I mean, most same and stayed warm, but y'all came out and had a lot of fun. It was like everybody, even though they were cold. And shout out, to my wife Megan too for coming out and playing in her first event despite the cold. I really was wondering if she would do it, but she came out, stuck it through, and despite being a fan of the cold, she still said it was an absolute blast. And I think she probably speaks for everybody that day.
Yeah, I think everybody really had a fun time, including all the guys on the screen right now. It was a lot of fun to see so many different types of people out too, so many different divisions. So shout out to everybody who was not a wimp or a whiner and came out to the 2018 Ice Bowl. And thank you so much for putting everything together. It was a really nice, well-run event. And special thanks to Hughes for having us afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, Huff's. Yeah,
Huff's.
Yeah, I know you could go either way with the name, but Huff's hosted us, and I know folks were super happy. Yeah, so folks were super happy. I know I was super happy to get out of the cold, get some warm food, have a drink. Where I think it really was a nice way to cap off the event, and hopefully we'll have a good turnout and a good event again next year. As of right now, I hope to run it again. So I think we'll just make it bigger and better. And also if we're doing shout outs, still got to do another shout out to Pittsburgh Flying Disc, specifically Adam Woodward and Matt Rosier for helping me kind of get everything together. And a shout out to Mark. He TD'd the Ice Bowl for the last 5 or 6 years. And without his support and me being able to message him pretty much whenever to ask him questions about what to do, I definitely wouldn't have run the event that I did. I had all of his knowledge and wisdom supporting me. So really great. If anybody's sort of thinking, maybe I want to run an event, maybe I don't in Pittsburgh, do it, because you will have all the support you could possibly want and need. Even down to Jacob Johnson has online privileges for the disc golf scene, and he was helping me add people to the list. You'll have all the help you need. Everybody will pitch.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast of the 2018 Ice Bowl. Thank you so much for joining us here on Disc Golf Examiner. And Vince, thank you again so much for joining us to help me commentate this.
My pleasure, Brian. I hope to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. So until next week, guys, keep banging those chains.
Disc golf is a sport growing in popularity all over the United States and around the world. Dynamic Discs is the premier disc golf manufacturer, distributor, and retailer for enthusiasts, beginners, experts, and hardcore players. Along with hosting some of the best professional disc golf association tournaments in the country, Dynamic Discs also takes pride in offering the best customer service in the disc golf industry. At Dynamic Discs, customer service isn't just a department, it's the way we do business. Our entire staff at Dynamic Discs is knowledgeable and passionate about growing the sport and providing you with an exceptional experience. We know how important it is to get the products that you order in your hands as quickly as possible. Orders are shipped immediately from our own inventory and arrive at your doorstep in 2 to 3 days to almost any location around the United States. Check us out at dynamicdiscs.com.